This short video will give you some ideas and strategies to help when your child is stuck with their learning. When we're home learning, you might often hear the phrase, "Help, I'm stuck, what should I do?" And as parents, sometimes we don't always know the answer. It's good to tell children to change their mindset. In school, we call it growing our mind or growth mindset. So when they say, "I can't do something," which we hear quite often, try and get them to change the sentence from "I can't do this" to "How can I do this?" I can't do it yet. So here are some "How can I" strategies when your child is stuck. The first thing to do, if you have a device and internet, then you can ask in Teams. Contact the teacher through your Teams page. There should be a question page or a channel where your child is able to ask a question. The teacher may not always be able to get back straight away, but if you type in the question, they'll get back to you as soon as they can. Asking a friend who's at the same stage or in the same class, or even an older sibling, is also another useful strategy. We can use the internet to ask. We can ask them on the phone. We can ask them on Teams. In the classroom, we often say, "Help your partner. Help the person next to you if you're stuck." It's one of our stuck strategies. So your child could ask someone else who's working on the same task to help them, to see if they understand. It's sometimes worth going back and reading the instructions again. Sometimes when we skim over them, we might miss something. So ask your child to take some time and read the instructions over carefully a few times. Another good idea is to look at the question for any clues. Question clues can include words like what, where, when, or how. And these are all asking us different things. So read the question carefully to find out what it's really asking for. Often your child will be building on previous work. So unless it's something totally new they are learning, they will probably be building on something that they've learned the previous week. So it's worthwhile checking back on previous work in case there is something that could help with this week's work. Maybe a strategy that they learned last week and they've forgotten about, or maybe some more information that might help. There are lots of tools that can help us when we're stuck too. The internet is a great tool if you're lucky enough to have access to it. But if not, dictionaries and thesaurus are great tools to help children when they're stuck with a word or they're trying to find some good words to use in their writing. Calculators as well are also really useful. Most phones now have a calculator. If you have the internet, you can research pretty much anything that you are learning. There are also lots of online videos to help your children. Visualising is a great strategy, and some children are really visual learners. That means they like to see things drawn in front of them. Say, for example, your child is struggling with fractions. It's a good idea to get them to really think about everything they know about fractions and write these down or draw them, almost like a mind map, which is when we draw pictures of all the things that we can think about that have to do with that topic. Having a go even when things are tricky. is a really worthwhile thing to do. And it's really important to remind your child that mistakes are okay. We learn in school that mistakes are just proof that we are trying. Mistakes are nothing to be ashamed of or to be frightened of. They're just part of the learning process. So it's okay to try, and if you get it wrong, that's fine. We just try again, and we learn each time from the mistakes we are making. So remind your child that mistakes are really okay. If none of the strategies have worked, and your child is still really stuck or struggling with something, the best thing to do is to highlight or just put a star or a dot beside the question and leave it until the next time that they meet with their teacher, whether that be online or at a hub. By highlighting it, they can quickly go back and check and find the question easily so that someone can help them. And finally, if things are getting far too much, take a brain break. That just means stepping away from the work for a moment or two, having a walk, having something to eat, or just doing something restful for a few minutes. This lets our brain relax. If your child's getting really upset over a piece of work, it's definitely time to step away from the piece of work. And most importantly, remember the power of yet. Your child will probably know this saying from school. It's like we said at the very beginning of the presentation. It's not, I can't do this, but I can't do this yet. Everyone's on a learning journey, and we're going at different speeds and different stages. So the next time your child says, I can't do this, change it and tell them you can't do it yet.